Hey, Scott Jordan and Mark Warner here for Jancast number 89, Thursday, March 11th, 2021. Hey, Mark, how you doing?
Doing good. Guess we don't need these right now. We're
Yep,
socially distanced, which
yep,
could
yeah.
potentially be measured in feet or miles.
Yes, I'm not in Amsterdam, but I'm definitely not in the office, even though it does look like I'm in the office, and that's why I'm somewhat casually dressed. So enough said about that. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today because there's some landmark calendar notes we have to make, right?
Do you know what today is?
Other than Thursday Beer Day?
Um, oh, that's more
No.
important. Gosh. No, so March 11th, 2020 was the day that the World Health Organization declared an outbreak that occurred in Wuhan to have spread to epidemic levels within the country of China, and that it had jumped borders and become a worldwide epidemic, which made it the first time they've proclaimed a pandemic
Yeah.
in the world. The last
Yeah.
pandemic was 1918. So, pandemic is a hyphenated word, a modified word from worldwide pandemic or epidemic. So,
Yeah.
that's today is the 1 year anniversary, and the
Hard to
best part of
believe.
that, we're seeing a light at the end of the tunnel.
That's
Finally,
right. That's right. That's a COVID optimism.
COVID optimism. Well, one of the questions that I'm glad to see is kind of abated. Um, I remember a year ago, everybody was saying the flu.
Yeah.
We get the flu every year.
Yeah. What's
What's
the
so
big deal?
unique? Yeah. So you and I did some research on that, and
Yep.
so yeah, there's always a flu that happens every year. The United States average of deaths is somewhere around 30,000 people a year. So Scott,
It's
how many
pretty,
people died of the flu last year? The
it's
COVID
pretty
flu.
consistent, that number. If you look at it from 2011 to 2020, I mean, there's a couple blips. 2015, it looked like it went up to 51,000, but other than that, and in 2018 we had 61,000. But compared to COVID, it's not even the same thing. So I mean, people are still saying that it's no different than the flu.
Well, 30,000 versus 500,000. Um, I think that's a pretty remarkable difference.
Yes.
If you were,
Yeah.
instead of talking about people, you were talking about dollars, nobody would argue there's a big difference between $30 and $500, or
Yeah.
30,000 and 500,000. But you're talking about something even more important than that: people and deaths that have occurred. So
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
not hearing a lot about that as widespread as it was a year
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
But the other good news is that we're looking at the light at the end of the tunnel because of vaccines.
Hmm. Yep. And you and I, Mark, were fortunate enough to get scheduled for the 23rd coming up. Thanks to, I mean, we've talked about it in past shows. Pennsylvania in particular has been a very bad state for the ability to get a vaccine. If I know in Delaware County, where our business is located, there was 200 something. I think we made a little bit of a joke about the fact that it was going to take, based on their current rate, it was going to take 10 years or something for us to get a vaccine. So fortunately, we
That's right.
found that the Philadelphia Convention Center, they're going to have a mass vaccination thing that you've seen or in the news, probably seen around the country. And some of you listening to this maybe have actually gotten vaccinated at some of these mass sites. So looking forward to getting the shot on the 23rd, thanks to the Department of Public Health and FEMA, right?
Yep. Thank you, guys.
Yes,
And
yes,
I'm actually looking forward to getting that. I know it puts us closer to the feeling of normalness,
yeah, yeah. Because
normalcy.
I know you want to get out on the road, Mark, and do some of your selling in face to face versus all this virtual stuff.
Yeah, well, I miss the whole live interactions,
Yeah,
the emotion and the nonverbal contact that occurs. So I like that.
yep,
I will look
yep.
forward to that. And the interesting thing is we've got our campaign to try to deal with extreme cleanliness, and there's all
Hmm.
kinds of surveys popping up now. One in particular is that when surveying all kinds of employees of businesses, um, people are saying straight out, their number one priority going into a building, going back to a business, going into somebody else's business as a customer, number one,
Yep.
it's not price, it's not value, it's not any of that, it's cleanliness. So for the first time in history, really this whole issue regarding the cleaning industry and the need for cleanliness is front and center, and that's not going to change.
Yeah, and we've been talking for years, years and years about upping the credibility, whatever you want to call it, status of the cleaning industry. And I think the last year has really shown that there's a big difference between what it was before and what it is now.
The fact that the cleaning industry has been deemed one of the more essential industries during the COVID times kind of elevated the level of respect. That's fantastic. The other thing that kind of popped up that's worth mentioning right now is that there's been some concern about the fact that this is an airborne contagion.
Yeah.
But what we're finding is that there are people that have the ability to contract it from surfaces. Hell, the whole country of New Zealand got shut down from somebody picking it up off of a textile.
Yeah,
right?
laundry.
Laundry coming off an airplane. So the message that we really need to be spreading out there is don't let up on disinfecting surfaces. So we're dealing with masks to deal with airborne droplets.
Yep.
But we do know that surfaces can cause the spread, and we can't let up on that. And the other thing tied into that, Scott, which we talked about in a previous Jancast, is because we're disinfecting so frequently and thoroughly, not a lot of people are catching the common cold, getting a sore throat, getting a runny nose, so there's been a lot of other common things that would normally be occurring that haven't been because of this heightened level of disinfecting. So don't let up on disinfecting surfaces.
Nope. Yep. Still part of the routine. So that kind of gets you into the really good news that we reported a little bit on the Sunday Sales Blast. If you don't subscribe to the Sunday Sales Blast, you can do that at bulletonline.com at the bottom of the page. Every Sunday we put out cleaning tips and information about the industry that hopefully going to help you in the sales end of it and the operational end. But February hiring set up some really strong spring recovery that's coming in the restaurant industry in particular. So I think that's just going to be a trend as we go forward and more people get vaccinated and they change the rules as far as outdoor versus indoor dining and all that other stuff. So there's a lot of potential coming from a business standpoint that we got to get ready for.
Well, we saw a little shift with the Philadelphia Flyers this week in Philadelphia, where they opened up the arena. They used social distancing and used pod setups, family-based pods. But the idea of being able to get back into an entertainment venue, see a concert, see
movies,
a football game, see a hockey game or a basketball game, go to the movies, all of those things are related to the things that we do here. And it's not just going out to eat, but all the other things that become part of our social fabric, and really, really happy to see all that happen.
Yep. So what can people do to prepare for this big increase of activity in their businesses or as part of the business?
Well, keeping in mind the new normal, right?
Yep.
The new normal is everybody's expecting extreme cleanliness. And if they don't see it, they're going to run for their lives. I do. Yeah. So, what's that mean? It means that everything that we do beyond just disinfecting is also picking up this high level of visibility. And so one of the things that is expected is that there's going to be an extremely high demand for cleaning products in general.
Yeah.
Building maintenance products in general, as people come out of lockdown and want to get back out and start avoiding facilities that look dirty and engaging with facilities that look clean. So that's creating an expectation of what that's going to mean for our industry, Scott. But it's also creating some potential concerns. We know what happened to disinfectants last year. Everybody wanted them. They became harder and harder to get.
Yep,
So there's
there's potential supply chain shortages coming for floor finish. There's a couple ingredients in floor finish that, not unlike when we started talking about quats that apparently were only made somewhere overseas and on a ship coming to the United States. Well, there's ingredients in floor finishes and ingredients in floor strippers that are showing signs of being another one of those supply chain issues as far as when you can get them. We're in pretty good shape, but I've heard from multiple people that that's kind of coming down the road. Now, hopefully it's not just to put through a price increase, which we've seen as well,
Well,
unfortunately.
I think it's going to create a demand not only for floor cleaning chemistry, but also a lot of the tools. I mean, you can't really work with floor finishes and strippers and floor cleaners without mops and buckets. And I think there's going to be a demand, a heightened demand for all of those things as everybody
Yep.
tries to fill their inventory with the equipment they need to do these things. And the other thing that has been popping up a lot, Scott, has been interest in we know we need to keep all our hard surfaces clean, including
Yeah.
our floors. What about our carpets? And so I think there's going to be a very, very heightened interest in caring for carpet and eliminating traffic lanes, eliminating spots that sometimes people live with for weeks and weeks on end.
Yeah.
Now we know those spots are organic. We don't want them around. We want them clean. And beyond that, there's a lot of people that don't actually realize that you can sanitize carpet, right, Scott?
Yes, and Bullen is the company that was given by EPA's blessing the first carpet sanitizer in the United States. So we're very unique in that aspect. And let's also keep in mind from a carpet standpoint, we've always said, when your carpet looks dirty, it's too late. So imagine all these facilities have been closed. They haven't cleaned their carpets in a year. And we're assuming the facilities are not 100% closed. So they were way overdue getting cleaned a long time ago, let alone a year later. So there's a huge opportunity out there for low moisture carpet cleaning as well as extraction, bonnet cleaning. Our product in particular, the Dual and RX80 are approved as a carpet sanitizer for all those uses. So you got one product that'll work with all your different carpet cleaning types.
And it doesn't stop there, because
Nope.
even though you might have the world's leading chemistry and the world's leading tools and equipment, that's no guarantee that you're going to be successful. You really also need to have the proper skill and knowledge on
Yeah.
how to use them. So we've talked about that a lot as it relates to disinfectants, and it carries over into floor care and carpet care. You can have all this stuff, but if you don't really know how to use them, you're probably not going to have the expectation or the outcome that you were hoping for. So tied into all these things that people are going to be needing and might be in short supply. How about this, Scott? Maybe the world's going to be in short supply of professionals, people that are certified and trained in the
Yeah.
arts and sciences of cleaning. I mean, do you have that in your frontline cleaners now, or to your clients?
Yeah.
Do you expect them to be certified, trained and certified? Do you expect your electrician to be trained and certified?
I
You
hope
know,
so.
exactly. Otherwise
Yeah.
your house burns down. So why
Yeah.
wouldn't we have those same kind of expectations on the professionals that are doing the cleaning and protecting us on a health and safety basis with infectious disease control?
Well, let's keep in mind that, a year ago, excuse me, a year ago, staff was laid off, and now we're hopefully hiring staff back. Well, where are the trained people versus the untrained people? So I think the training part's going to be even more important.
Well, I think that the part that's going to really grab some traction this year is recognizing that there is great value in training and certification, that it actually is something that people can look at as a career path. There's people that are entering the cleaning industry that have never been in the cleaning industry, and some of their
Yeah.
reluctance in the past might have been that they didn't recognize that there was a career path in the cleaning industry. But
Yeah.
as it turns out, now that we're on the center stage, people realize that there's a heck of a career path within the cleaning industry. And if you're a frontline worker, you can enhance your own career through career development training,
Yeah.
which would take you into the arts and sciences of more advanced levels of cleaning and disinfection. So I think that's all fabulous. I mean,
Yeah.
you and I have spent our life in the cleaning industry, really.
Yep.
And it's just neat to see that it's now being looked at with this level of respect as a formal career with a career path and proper ways for people to continue to develop their professionalism. And that's part of what we're doing with our extreme cleanliness program, our Bullen broadcasting studios. We want to share the knowledge, including cleaning tips, right, Scott?
Yes, yes. And Mark, you have one this week. Normally we try to do it when we're in the broadcasting studio, but obviously I'm not there. So you've got one that you can take with you.
I got one you can take with you. I mean, we had to get really creative now. How can you do a demo in front of a Zoom meeting at your desk? But this was critical. Like if you're a professional involved with frontline cleaning or supervising frontline cleaners or a distributor or distributor sales rep selling to people that are in-house cleaning or service contractors, if they don't have one of these, you're going to scratch your head and say, this is a sign of a professional. Would you expect a police officer to be a professional without his badge?
No.
Well, how could you expect a cleaning professional not to have his inspection mirror? How else are you going to see where those odors are coming from down underneath? The inspection mirror is one of the most important tools in the cleaning industry, and every professional in the cleaning industry ought to have one tucked into their belt. That's cleaning tip number 4.
Perfect. And you can also use it for a double selfie. You can put it over your shoulder and with your camera on your phone.
This is true.
Potentially.
Or you can check on how your hair looks in the back.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm losing hair back there.
Good stuff. Well, I think that's it for this week's show. Next week, we're hoping to be back in the Bullen Broadcasting Studio. And then we will definitely be reporting on our vaccination. Very interesting to see how that goes. It's probably going to be a little emotional, I think, actually, to get the shot. I've read about how people kind of react to it, and it's been a long slog, and kind of opens up the possibility of a new world with that vaccine.
Yeah, it does. It kind of creates a lot of true optimism about the future.
Yep.
All right, Scott, I guess it's back to work.
You got it. Thanks a lot for tuning in, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Week.